Winter has finally loosened its icy grip, letting men and women all over the world grab their bows and arrows and head back outdoors to shoot in Shanghai. China playing host to the World Cup for the 6th year in a row. More than 300 elite international athletes traveling here from more than 40 countries to kick off the new season, including a team from North Korea. While there are some new faces in this crowd, some familiar ones are missing. South Korea's Oh Jin-yek did not make the trip to Shanghai, while his teammates Kibo Bae and Yuno Ki failed to qualify for South Korea's women's squad. And Deepika Kumari was not on India's travel roster either when she failed to qualify for her country's team. Meanwhile, there were some upsets in the early rounds. Top guns like Denmark's Stefan Hansen and the Dutchman Chef Vandenberg both find themselves on the outside in Shanghai looking in. But then again, there have been some notable performances all during this week of elimination rounds here in China. Sarah Lopez tying her own world record, Pierre-Julien Deloche extending his streak of qualifying for gold medal matches, and both of the American compound teams once again making their presence felt. They could sail away with a bounty of gold from one of the world's biggest seaports. It's all up for grabs as we kick off the 2014 outdoor season of World Cup Archery. Wherever you happen to be watching, ni hao, bonjour, hola, merhaba, konnichiwa, privyet, shalom, guten tag, dzień dobry, buongiorno, good day, mates, and welcome to the River Boulevard in the Pudong district of Shanghai, the first of 4 stops on the Outdoor World Cup Tour that will stretch from the spring through the summer and into the fall, with the World Cup finals in September in Switzerland. Along with Andy Rickonenko of Great Britain, I'm Carl Arkey, and we welcome you to the banks of the Wangpu River here in China, our venue for this weekend's recurve and compound finals. The weather today, wet, extremely wet, which will make the conditions, Andy, all the more challenging for these archers as they transition from indoors to outdoors.
Yeah, that's right, Carl. We've had a fantastic week during the week. We've had lovely weather. There's not been too much wind in the stadium as we've been shooting the qualification rounds and the elimination rounds. And then to come to this, it's completely different. It's always a different environment here on the waterfront. It's always a little bit windy. The wind changes direction, so it's always a bit tricky. But today, it's blowing a gale out there, and with this torrential rain, it's going to give the guys a real challenge.
Well, we'll start off with the women. It's the women's team bronze medal match. Mexico facing Korea. The Koreans coming out first. A team consisting of Choi Bo-min, Kim Yoon-hee, and Sok Ji-hyun. The Koreans getting here with a 17-point win over Kazakhstan in the quarterfinals before losing by 1 to Chinese Taipei. So this is the team from Mexico, actually, that we're looking at right now. Mexico, Linda Ochoa on the right, and she's teaming up with Brenda Moreno and Fernanda Del Rocio Sandoval. So the Mexican team out first. Mexico, seeded 5th, reached this bronze medal match. They had a bye in the 1/8 round, then an impressive 6-point win over Colombia before falling by a single point to the American team in the semifinals. Now through the raindrops, we can see the team from South Korea coming out to compete here in these rainy conditions in Shanghai. So Korea, a 17-point winner over Kazakhstan in the quarterfinals before losing by 1 to Chinese Taipei. Choi Bo-min on the left, teaming up with Kim Yoon-hee and Sok Ji-hyun. So those are the archers who will be competing here today. By the way, the world record in this event, 236 points recorded by the United States team in Ogden, Utah, back on August the 4th of 2011. I would imagine this first end, Andy, is a kind of a feeling out and just getting an idea of how the weather is going to affect these arrows.
Yeah, that's right, Carl. The practice sessions, the guys will be out back practicing for the past hour or so, but even that's going to be very different and more sheltered than standing here on the finals. So the first arrow going down, they'll be watching it closely, seeing where it goes. The teammates, the person standing behind ready to go and shoot, will be talking to the archer on the line, telling them what the flags are doing, giving them every second as the wind changes and what's happening to try and give them the best chance of getting the arrow in the middle.
And you bring up an interesting point. It's not just the rain, it is also the wind that they have to contend with.
That's right. Just look at those flags at the side on the waterfront there. You can see how much it's blowing. these guys are going to be really struggling to be able to hold the bow on the middle of the target. So as much as moving the arrow, it'll be about moving the archer and moving the bow around.
So the 2014 season about to begin. Let it fly, and there you go. The first shot of the season is an 8. And a little bit better with that second shot for Korea. As you can see, the downpour. Monsoon season arriving early in Shanghai. So not a bad start for Korea.
No, that's not bad at all. In these conditions, that's really good. They're looking calm, collected, and shooting well.
So a pair of 9s and 1-8. As Mexico prepares for its first shot of this match. Trying to peer through that sight, through the raindrops, and it's a 7. I suspect we will see some 7s, maybe some 6s, some low scoring today, I would think.
Certainly lower than we normally expect to see from these guys, definitely.
26 points recorded so far by Korea. Not a bad start at all. And Mexico trying to find the range right now through the raindrops. And now Linda Ochoa with her first shot. Trying to pick up her teammates. And she does.
Shot.
So a terrific shot by Linda Ochoa, the veteran on this team for Mexico. And Mexico within a point of Korea. Here in the first end, midway through. Our first match of the day, our first match of the 2014 outdoor season.
Now, I have to say at the moment, despite what the flags are doing, the archers look fairly collected on the line. They don't look like they're fighting the bows too much from the wind, which is good.
Just a tad low that time for Korea.
Fantastic shot.
So a great shot to finish off the first end, and Korea posts a score of 53 on the first 6 arrows. 3 strong shots, though, for Mexico would bring Mexico right back in. But quite a bit low.
I blame you for that, Carl, saying you think there might be some sixes.
Exactly. Always blame it on the broadcaster. A master craftsman never blames his tools.
Oh, absolutely not.
Better effort that time for Mexico. And now Linda Ochoa, who was a member of the team in Nîmes that defeated the United States for the gold medal back in February, steps up for her second shot. Hoping to pull her team at least back within 3, and she's not going to do that.
Not happy with that shot.
So it will be a 5-point deficit for Mexico as the red, white, and green post the score of 48 to Korea's 53 points. And it's a 5-point advantage for Korea. Now, last year, under slightly better weather conditions, it was India that won the bronze medal in the women's team competition. Trisha Deb, Gangadeep Kaur, and P. Lily Shanu coming away with the bronze medal on that day. We've seen it rain here in Shanghai before, Andy, but not quite like this.
No, this is torrential weather. I mean, it's just, I didn't much like just walking through it earlier, let alone standing in it and trying to shoot in it.
And you're from Great Britain.
Yes, we're used to it. It doesn't mean we enjoy it. Doesn't mean we enjoy it. As you can see here, they're spending a lot of time trying to dry their scopes out. That camera shot we saw earlier, where we could hardly see the archers because of the raindrops on the camera lens, that's very much what the target can look like through these scopes. And you can start to get the dot that you're trying to put on the middle of the target gets very fuzzy, and that can all be adding to the problems. If it's an individual shoot where you've got a bit more time, then you can cope with that and you can think about that a little bit more. But of course, in the team round, you've got your 20 seconds, get on the line, shoot and get off again. So that all adds to the pressure to try and be able to cope with that. So they're spending a lot of time trying to keep their kit as dry as possible.
That clock is running and you do not have much time, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because I've been wondering how you see through that sight when the rain is coming down. There's no way to keep the water off that sight.
No, absolutely. Well, a lot of archers will have rain shields, which do help keeping the big blobs of rain off. But all you can do is try and keep it as clear as possible.
So the arrows have been retrieved and we're getting set for the second end. Here in the first match of the day. First event, stage 1, 2014 World Cup season as we head outdoors into the maybe not so great outdoors today. But it does make things interesting. So Mexico on target number 1, trailing by 5, will shoot first. The rain started last night. We had a beautiful day here yesterday in Shanghai. In fact, we had blue skies, sunshine in the morning. But the weather moved in last night, began raining, has not let up, and not expected to let up until midday tomorrow. Great shot from Mexico. And I believe that was Brenda Marino with the shot. Now, Fernanda del Rocio Sandoval, 17 years old.
You can see there, she was struggling with some water in her peak. She was trying to blow the water out before she made the shot.
Just did grab that line. It's a 9. And Linda Ochoa with her third shot of the day. And high on that shot. So a 10, a 9, and an 8 for Mexico. And Korea, which started this end with a 5-point lead. Kim Yoon-hee, 20 years old, unranked in her first international competition, fires a 9. Great focus, great concentration. Ends up with another score of 9 for Korea. And an 8. So Korea gives back a point. The lead is overall down to 4 right now. 79-75. Korea with the lead midway through the second end. Here in our first match of the day. Back to Brenda Marino, who was also a member of that team in Nîmes in February that defeated USA for the gold medal.
Now you can see the wind starting to affect the bow.
When that wind comes up like that, Andy, better to get the shot off or try to hold it and wait?
The best way to shoot in the wind is to try and come up, keep your timing and shoot quickly, shoot normally. If you try and fight with the wind, you can end up getting tense, which then just makes the shot worse. The longer you hold it, the more tense you get, the more you fight with the bow, so then it's very difficult to make a clean shot. It's easy to say that, of course, but if the wind blows you off the target and you're pointing in the middle of the two bosses or somewhere else, then you need to spend a bit of time getting back in the middle.
Linda Ochoa, after an 8 with her first shot of the second end, comes back with a 9, so a much better score in this end. 53 points for Mexico. 101 overall. And trying to apply a little bit of pressure on Korea, which is easier said than done. Another 9. And the final shot of the second end for South Korea. And there you can see she's trying to blow that water off there.
She's really struggling. If you get water in the peak, you cannot see anything at all. It's like somebody's just put their hand in front of your eyes.
Now time becoming a little bit of a factor.
9 seconds to make this shot. So her teammates.
She's going to have to take the shot. With 2 seconds to go, she lets it fly, but that's better than not taking the shot at all.
Well, that's 5 more points than she would have had.
What a struggle right there to get that shot off. So there you see how the weather conditions are affecting the play here.
That's the first time we've seen the weather conditions even look like it was getting to the Korean team. They've been very composed. You could hardly tell it wasn't a sunny day watching them shoot the other arrows.
So after the second end, there you see the scores. And Mexico starting to make a little bit of a comeback and get back into this match midway through.
Today in these conditions, the matches aren't going to be over until the last arrow shot. Anything can happen in these kind of conditions. We've seen it many times in other World Cup finals where people in these kind of conditions have had problems for exactly that same reason, with missed arrows and all sorts of things. Hopefully we won't get any misses today, but you never know.
So here we go as we head to the third end in rain-drenched Shanghai, China. The eastern seaboard of China, just off the China Sea. They had windstorms and dust storms in western China, and I think that's the system that moved in here. We don't have the dust and the wind, but certainly the cold front came in and brought with it a lot of rain, a lot of moisture. Let the crew from hit the roof and World Archery hanging in there here in Shanghai on the River Boulevard as we get set for the third end. And Kim Yoon-hee, 20 years old in her first international competition, lining up the shot. She's been solid so far.
Absolutely. And you can see with her, I was saying about trying to keep the timing. She's up on the line, draws the bow, makes the shot.
Here's Sok Ji-hyun, the winner of an individual gold and a mixed team silver in Shanghai and an individual silver medal in Antalya, all that last year in 2013. And she drills a 9 as well, so back-to-back 9s for South Korea. Now Choi Bo-min, who is ranked 13th in the world, and she comes up with a 10.
Well, that's good to see that her last arrow isn't playing on her mind. She's back to making good, strong shots.
So after Mexico had mounted a comeback, Korea responds with a 9-9 and a 10. And here's Brenda Moreno, 18 years old and ranked 34th in the world.
Fuerte, fuerte.
And she didn't appear to be happy about the shot when she let it go, but it wasn't bad. It got inside that 9 ring.
It did. She actually looked like she was struggling to make the shot a little bit. Maybe she was struggling to
Vamos,
aim
Brenda.
that.
Ms. Sandoval, competing in only her 5th major international competition, follows up the first 9 with another 9. And Mexico trying to keep pace. A 10 will do it. Linda Ochoa, who finished 6th at the World Cup finals in Edinburgh in 2010. She scores a 9, and Mexico's just a point back. So a great match in our first match of the season. Outdoors, Korea seeded 2nd, taking on 5th seeded Mexico, and another 9 for Kim Yoon-hee. Sok Ji-hyun came to China last year, ranked 47th in the world. Came away with a whole bunch of hardware and moved up in the world rankings. But this time it's an 8. another 8.
Now with Mexico, they're a little bit down on time now. They used a little bit more than half the time for their first 3 arrows, so this will be interesting to see how they get on. So now I have 40 seconds left for 3 arrows.
Fuerte, Fer, fuerte. Bien.
So low and to the left, that's an 8 for Brenda Marino, who needs her teammate, the 17-year-old Fernanda Del Rocio Sandoval, to pick her up. She's quickly off the line.
Making up time. I'm getting a 10 here.
Great shot. And now Linda Ochoa with a chance to give Mexico the lead.
Vamos, Linda.
6 seconds.
2 seconds. She lets it fly and comes up with a 10. So Mexico does indeed come back and take the lead after the 3 ends.
That's very impressive. Both girls, they knew they got a bit of a time pressure there. They didn't let it get to them, and they actually made fantastic shots straight in the 10.
So both teams adjusting to the weather conditions right here. Mexico making maybe a little bit better adjustment right now, and they are back in this match after falling behind by 5 points in the opening end. They came back, picked up 4 points, and were only down by 1 midway through the match, and now have 155 points on the scoreboard with just 6 arrows to go. Actually 157 points, excuse me, for Mexico. 155 for Korea. So a 2-point lead from Mexico as they try to pick up the bronze medal here in the women's team bronze medal match. Mexico as a country with an opportunity to pick up 2 bronze medals here this morning in men's and women's competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you see the scores. Mexico falling behind early, but fighting back and getting dialed in as the rain continues to come down in buckets. And some hardy fans up in the stands taking in the action here in Shanghai. Saturday morning here in China. Wherever you happen to be, whatever time of day it might happen to be, we're glad that you are with us here on Archery.tv. You can get an idea of the winds that are whipping along the River Boulevard here in Shanghai. So Korea trailing by 2. Kim Yoon-hee to shoot first, trying to bring Korea back. And that's a great start. Sok Ji-yoon, who was a member of the first compound team Korea ever sent to a World Cup event, comes up with another 10. So Korea appears to have things figured out. Just inside the 9 line.
That's fantastic shooting in these conditions.
10, 10, and 9. Back to Brenda Marino, a bronze medalist of the Mexican Grand Prix last year. Finished 7th about a month ago at the Arizona Cup under windy conditions, now windy and rainy conditions here in China that she's dealing with, and she dealt well with a 9. Now the 17-year-old Sandoval, and she's high with an 8. So Ochoa needs a 10 right here to keep things even. Linda Ochoa, who won an individual silver medal here in Shanghai in 2010, comes up with a 9. And so the lead goes back to Korea, 184-183, midway through this final end. Just inside the line for Kim Yoon-hee. Now Sok Ji-yoon, who shot recurve till she was 19 years old and then switched to compound. Boy, did she ever. Wow. These are the money shots for Korea right now. Choi Bo-min, gold medalist in Shanghai a year ago. And another 10.
Vamos, Fer, vamos.
Clutch shooting by Korea, really putting the pressure on Mexico right now. And basically Mexico's got to shoot 10s from here on out. Not even close.
Vamos, Brenda, vamos.
So Mexico, which had a 2-point lead after the first 3 ends, had to watch Korea. Korea shooting terrifically. And now this is basically a moot point. Linda Ochoa to take the final shot. On the line, that'll count as a 10. But it's hardly enough for Mexico, as Korea, in a seesaw battle that saw Korea get off to a 5-point lead after the first end. Then Korea fell behind by 2 after 3 ends, but they come back strong, Andy, down the stretch with some big shots in that last end.
Absolutely, to finish on a 58 is absolutely fantastic shooting from the Korean girls.
So on a soggy Saturday here in Shanghai, Korea, seeded number 2, will come away with the victory. The team of Choi Bo-min, Kim Yoon-hee, and Sok Ji-yoon. And Korea really a new factor basically in compound. They hadn't really been that much of a factor up until about a year ago.
No, that's right. And they've, well, I think most of us always knew that as soon as they decided to pick up compounds, they'd be straight in there, and they've proven it absolutely. And you just watch them shoot, and they've got the same kind of style and the same discipline that you see in the recurve shooting. So it is absolutely fantastic. It's fantastic to have them in the sport as well, because again, it's just lifting the game up a little bit more for everybody else.
So Korea takes the first match of the season, the 2014 Outdoor World Cup archery season, which is now starting in Shanghai for the 3rd year in a row. Shanghai has hosted this event for 6 years in a row, and actually 7 years overall. Hasn't been till the last 3 years or so that this has become the first stop on the tour, and has become somewhat of a tradition, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. First World Cup of the year, and it's great to get the whole World Cup season started off here.
One of the great cities of the world, and we have seen some great competition here on the River Boulevard in Shanghai, where the clouds are supposed to lift tomorrow afternoon, probably right in time for the individual recurve matches. But right now, the team shooting today in compound are just going to have to find their way through the rain. This is the women's team gold medal match. Top seeded USA taking on 6th seed Chinese Taipei. Let's take a look at the team from Chinese Taipei. Wang Aizhu, Wen Ningmeng, and Wu Tingting. Those 3 beat the Vietnamese team by 15 points, then knocked off India by 5. And in the semifinals, got the best of Korea by 1. They will take on the number 1 seeded team from the United States of America as they come out.
All right, Jamie's being brave out there with no waterproofs on.
No waterproofing for Jamie Van Etta. She's tough. She's a veteran. I imagine there's as much she hasn't seen. Same goes for Erica Jones in the middle. And of course, they're also shooting with Tristan Scarvan, who's on the right, Jamie Van Atta on the left. So a powerful squad for the United States. They drew a bye in the 1/8 round. Then in the quarterfinals, won a shoot-off against Great Britain. Sorry about that, Andy. And in the semifinals, slipped by Mexico by 1 point. So they've been tested a little bit, and they'll be tested today by Chinese Taipei. Jones, Van Atta, Scarvan taking on Wang Aizhu, Wen Ningmeng, and Wu Tunting. So we are about to begin. If you're just joining us in the bronze medal match for the women, it was Korea coming from behind to knock off Mexico 213 to 209. Now here is Jamie Van Atta, ranked 19th in the world right now, was #1 back in 2009, a gold medalist at the 2012 World Cup final in Tokyo. And Jamie gets the United States off to a flying start with a 9. Good look at Tristan Scarvan, 21 years old, ranked 47th in the world. Picked up a team silver medal a year ago at stage 4 in Poland. And her first shot lands in the 7 ring. Now Erica Jones, ranked #1 in the world, 26 years old. And Erica,
Fantastic shot.
Great shot on her first attempt. Erica winning a mixed team gold medal and a silver medal in Shanghai last year here at stage 1. So 26 points on the first 3 shots for the United States as Chinese Taipei gets off to a good start with a 9. And a 10 for Chinese Taipei. This is Wen Ningmeng, 26 years old, finished 3rd at the Asian Grand Prix this year. Some sharp shooting for Chinese Taipei on the first 3 shots.
Solid start. As we were saying earlier, this first end is also a little bit about just finding out what's happening actually on the competition field. So to shoot like that's fantastic.
Jamie Van Atta trying to block out all of that rain, and she does indeed. A 10 for Jamie Van Atta, who's had her measure of success here in Shanghai. In 2011, Jamie won the gold medal in Shanghai, which was back in that year, the 4th stage.
9-11.
Right now, we're trying to keep that camera lens dry so you can see the shot. Another strong shot for the USA. Tristan Scarvan with a 9. And now back to Erica Jones, who found that 10 ring on her first attempt.
Jamie, you're going to count?
With 5 seconds to go, she lets it fly, and that is a 9.
Just 9.
All things considered, though, pretty good start.
Oh, absolutely.
Jenny, you're going to count?
Wang Aizhu, 24 years old, ranked 57th in the world. And it's inside the line, so that's a 10. Wu Tunting, 23 years old, finished 9th at this year's Asian Grand Prix.
Just see there the wind caught her. She took her thumb off the trigger to reset herself.
Held that shot a long time before she finally let it fly, and that's a 6. So the best the Chinese Taipei can hope for is a tie after this first end. That's in the hands of Wen Ningmeng. And with 5 seconds on the clock, she scores a 9. So the USA will take a 1-point lead, 54-53 after the first end. Erica Jones, Jamie Van Atta, Tristan Scarvan trying to pick up gold and take it back home to the United States. Chinese Taipei hanging right in there in this match with the USA. Now last year in stage one, USA got to the gold medal match before losing to Korea. Choi Bo-min, Sok Ji-hyun, and Seo Jung-hee came away victorious a year ago at stage one. The United States trying to go one better. Instead of settling for silver, come up with the gold medal, and right now they're huddled underneath that umbrella, which is, I think, the best place you could possibly be on a day like today.
And still smiling. That's the thing. That's the impressive bit. They're still smiling.
And having fun.
One-handed.
As is the crowd here along the Wangpu River. This is one of the largest seaports in the world, so we'll see those cargo ships going back and forth throughout the weekend. Not a lot of the pleasure cruising going on right now, though.
You have 3 more?
Perhaps tomorrow afternoon, when the sun will come out tomorrow. At least so we're told.
Get them ready.
The wind not letting up, the rain not letting up. And neither of these teams letting up right now. Great focus, great concentration. And both teams scoring well. The lowest score in that first end was the 6 for Chinese Taipei. Wang Haizhu, who was on the team that won a gold medal at the 2013 Asian Championships. Trying to right the ship. Tough to tell if that's on the line or not, Andy.
That looks like a liner to me. Might just be touching.
They'll put the asterisk by it. Wu Ting Ting
I don't have that problem.
captured a pair of silver medals in 2010 at the Asian Grand Prix. Very high and off to the left, and in that 6 ring. So the team from Taipei struggling right now, needing a 10 from Wen Ningmeng. And not even close.
Right, they haven't even put an asterisk against that.
So an 8, possibly an 8, possibly a 9, a 6, and then a 5.
Keep it moving.
And the United States with a golden opportunity to cash in right now, capitalize. Jamie Van Atta locked in on that target, 50 meters away.
10, 9 o'clock.
And a beautiful shot for Jamie Van Atta, who won a team gold medal here in Shanghai back in 2010. 21-year-old Tristan Scarvin. 2 years ago, she was a member of the gold medal team at the Indoor Championships in Las Vegas. Another 10.
No, left 9 o'clock.
And Erica Jones can make it a 12-point lead for the United States midway through the second, and instead it's an 11-point lead.
9 o'clock. Good. Stay dry.
So 2 10s and a 9 for USA, putting more pressure on the team from Taipei. Ms. Wang, ranked 57th in the world right now. Definitely an 8 that time. On her previous shot, Wu Ting Ting fired up a 6. Let's see if she can make an adjustment right here. But you can see that water beating up on the bow, on the arrow, on the string, and a much better effort with a 9. Wen Ningmeng, 67th in the world, 26 years old, and that's in the 10 ring.
That's better shooting.
Almost dead center. So give the team from Chinese Taipei a lot of credit. Had some tough shots to begin this end, but finished up strong with their final 3 attempts. But The United States trying to keep the pressure on. You could see the water fly off that arrow on that bow as soon as she released.
That's right. The bows will be getting soaked here, and as soon as you release, you get a nice spray of water coming off them. Looks impressive, but it's not ideal if you're holding the bow.
All things considered, you'd rather not. Tristan Scarvin high and off to the left.
You see she wasn't happy with that as it went.
So Erica Jones, who's been shooting since she was 6 years old. And that one's a little bit low and in the 8 ring. And the U.S. lead, which was at 11, is a little bit less than that right now, midway through this match. You and I were talking, Andy, before we went on today. This isn't something that you necessarily go out in the rain whenever it's raining at home and train in just for days like this, just in case.
Well, it's always a difficult decision to make. You know there's going to be times when you're going to be in important competitions and the weather's going to be like this. So you do need to know how to cope with it. So you do need to get out there and practice a little bit in it. But apart from the motivation of going out and getting soaked through to the skin just to practice in it, it's also a bit of a tough choice because days like this, you're going to start to have to do things you wouldn't want to do in your normal shot. So normally, if you're shooting normally, you want to be making nice, clean shots. You don't want to be holding the bow. You don't want to be hanging on to the shot too long. You want to be practicing your timing and just making good shots time after time after time, really drumming it into your subconscious. Going out on a day like this, the bow's going to be moving around because of the wind. The rain's going to be getting into your sight, going to be getting into your pea. Everything is going to feel much harder to do. So you're going to find yourself having to do things sometimes that you might not want to do. You don't want to be practicing those because that could be damaging your normal perfect shot. But you've got to be able to get out there and cope with this. And I think that's where you'll see the strength of the more experienced teams like the USA team. They just go out there and then just get on with it because they've been here so many times before and can just get on with it.
Andy Rikkonenko, compound archer from Great Britain, joining us here on Archery TV with the expert commentary on a day where, well, better suited for ducks, obviously, but these archers making the adjustments and trying to deal with these weather conditions. It's interesting, you know, most sports, if this were golf, I would suspect that most of the golfers would be back at the clubhouse. There are many sports where you'll find that they'll play on under these conditions.
No, that's right. The weather's got to be really extreme for us to not shoot. Lightning obviously is something we don't shoot in lightning because holding carbon and aluminium conductors out in lightning probably isn't the best idea. Or if the wind is really, really extreme, but it has to be really bad. It has to be dangerously bad. You know, the boss is going over or risk of actually shooting away from the target. But anything else, you're out there and you're shooting it.
Right now, the rain has let up just a little bit as we get set for the third end. The USA leading by 9, 108 to 99 as Wang Aizhu starts off with a 10 here in the third end. So Wang Aizhu, 24 years old, getting Chinese Taipei back on track with that 10. Hoping that Wu Tingting can do the same.
Right, see how much the bow's moving around there in the wind. Letting it settle again before she makes the shot.
And she pays for holding with an 8. You could see that windsock in the background off to the right there. And it is just dancing right now in the rain and the wind, as is the windsock on the left. Trying to read those flags above the target as well, and good job that time by Wen Ning Meng with a 9. So some respectable scoring right there for Chinese Taipei with a 10, an 8, and a 9. Jamie Van Atta. What an advantage for the United States to have someone like Jamie Van Atta to lead off.
Absolutely. Again, the experience. Good anchor there.
She was 9th at this year's Arizona Cup, where the wind was howling in Phoenix, Arizona, back in March. Tristan Scarvin off to the right with an 8.
4 o'clock.
United States with a cushion to play with, although you don't want to relax too much.
Absolutely not. In these kind of conditions, anything can happen. You suddenly find you've got water in the peak, you don't have time to make the shot, you can end up with a missed arrow. Or, the wind, if you suddenly get a gust, can blow the bow just as you're about to make the release and throw the arrow widely out. Again, we've only got scoring rings out to the 5 here, so in these kind of conditions, anything like that can happen. So no, you really can't relax until the last arrow's shot.
The lead is down to 6 now, midway through this third end, and Chinese Taipei trying to stay within striking distance. That's an 8 for Wang Aizhu. Now Wu Tingting, 9th at the Asian Grand Prix this year, 23 years old. Trying to find the middle of that target, 50 meters away. Easier said than done, even on a sunny day. And she comes close, 9. So Taipei trailed earlier by as many as 11, but still hanging in there in this match. And that's an 8 for Wen Ning Meng. So Jamie Van Adam once again. Leading the way for the USA.
Big smile on Jamie's face there, well deserved.
Jamie, of course, the World Cup titleist in 2008 in Lausanne, Switzerland. It's her 11th year on this international stage. Tristan Scarvin just getting her career started on the international scene. 21 years old, comes up with a good shot right there. And Erica Jones trying to build upon that lead for the USA, and it's a 9.
9, 10 o'clock.
So the USA does grow that lead a little bit more after 3 ends as Van Adam, Jones, and Scarvin keep firing away. 161 total points after the first 12 arrows out of a possible score of 180, considering the conditions. Not bad at all. Chinese Taipei with 145 points right now, and right now having to hope that the USA misses a shot and they have a chance and come back. And
that is their only chance now. They've got to hope that the USA do something badly wrong.
Not that you ever wish,
no, absolutely
you never
not.
wish ill upon your opponent, but
exactly.
If you're going to be
it's
realistic
not
about
sporting, is it? No.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very sporting, would it?
But
that thought has never crossed your mind, has it, Andy?
Oh, of course not. Ben.
Of course not. I'm going to call Michael Peart after this is all over and find out if that's true. Ah, the rain picking up once again. It died down for a moment, but now picking up again. Once again, a year ago, it was Korea defeating the United States in this women's team gold medal match. USA trying to atone for that today. They fell to Choi Bo-min, Sok Ji-yoon, and Seo Jung-hee a year ago in Shanghai, but now facing Chinese Taipei. And there isn't an umbrella that is big enough right now to keep these guys dry. Maybe this fella. You gotta come prepared.
I have also a mark on the right.
And our thanks to the folks at the Purple Mountain Inn here in Shanghai, where many of us have stayed during our visit to China. Beautiful 5-star hotel. And I'm sure everybody will be happy to get back to the Purple Mountain tonight, take a nice hot shower, and have a good warm dinner. And swap stories about shooting in the rain. Once again, in case you're just joining us, the women's bronze medal match. The bronze going to Korea, as Korea jumped out to a 5-point lead over Mexico, fell behind by 2 points with 6 arrows to go, but those last 6 arrows decided that match, and Korea came away with the bronze medal, 213 to 209. So Korea has medaled. USA, Chinese Taipei trying to decide which color medal each will receive right now. The U.S. sitting on top by 16 points, 161 to 145, and that Hoyt bow being drenched. Those bows are built to take just about anything, though, aren't they, Andy?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's top. All the teams will be shooting with top equipment here.
Great aerial shot. And a good start for Chinese Taipei. Wang Aizhu with a 9. Got to be in those yellow rings. And then hope they get lucky.
And if you watch the flags and you watch that arrow indicator on the wind speed meter, it just shows you the extra challenge these guys have got. That wind is dancing around. It's coming from predominantly behind, but also because it's coming from behind, it means any slight switch is going to be moving the arrows left to right. So even if you can get a clean shot away, you still can't be guaranteed that the arrow is going to go straight down the middle or where the last one went, because the wind's just switching and changing the whole time. This is where the teamwork is important. The person standing behind will be watching that flag. They'll be constantly talking to the archer on the line, telling them what's happening, updating them. So even midway through the shot, they might be saying, you know, you need to be taking it a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right of the centre to allow for the arrow to drift over in the wind.
Good job, 10.
Jamie Van Atta so steady, solid. Chinese Taipei sandwiched 2 9s around at 10. The Americans trying to counter. Tristan Scarvin now after that 10 for Jamie Van Atta. She follows up just outside it would appear to be the 9 ring and into the 8 ring.
11 o'clock.
So Erica Jones not wanting to take any chances. And Erica with another 10.
Still a bit high, 2 o'clock 10. Slightly high.
Last year was a silver season for Erica Jones. She won silver here in Shanghai, a team silver at stage 2 in Turkey, then individual silvers in Colombia, Poland, and at the World Cup finals. She wants to get that gold medal here today. And she's well on her way. The ladies from Chinese Taipei running out of time right now, running out of arrows. And that 8 might seal their fate right there. Wu Ting Ting with an 8. And now down to the final shot as the rain picks up, as does the wind. Wen Ningmeng, 26-year-old, is ranked 67th in the world, trying to keep that bow steady. You see the stabilizer out in front. Moving around, and it's low and in the 8 ring.
She was struggling to hold the bow then. You could see the whole bow, not only the long one, but if you watch the rest of the bow, it was twisting around in her hand. That wind really is biting.
And this is not meant as criticism. It's just the reality of the situation. Under these conditions, tough to keep that bow steady.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a shot by Jamie Van Atta.
Good job, Jamie. Nice strong shot.
And the USA has just captured the gold medal. Now it's just a matter of how much they're going to win by. Tristan Scarvin, with no pressure on her, catches the line.
Same spot.
That'll be a
10,
9.
11 o'clock. Slightly high left, both shots.
And Erica Jones to finish it off. Taking her time, has time. And with 10 seconds on the clock,
Fantastic finish.
To wrap up the gold medal.
That's fantastic shooting by the US team.
An outstanding performance by Erica Jones, Jamie Van Atta, and Tristan Scarvin as they atone. I'm not sure that's the right word to use. They did win a silver last year in the United States, but gold is a little bit better. So happy to go home with the gold medal this time instead of settling for the silver medal. If you're going to go out in the rain, you might as well get the gold.
Absolutely, and they definitely deserve it. Going out there today and shooting like that in these conditions, they definitely deserve that gold medal. Well done.
they mentioned don't leave right away. They want to take.
So congratulations to the ladies from the United States.
Erica?
Once again, they got to this gold medal match by winning a shoot-off against Great Britain in the quarterfinals, then just did slip by Mexico in the semifinals before coming away with a commanding victory here today in the gold medal match under adverse weather conditions. Took on a strong team from Chinese Taipei, but the USA got off to a 1-point lead in the first end, built that lead up to 9 midway through the match, 16 points after 3 ends, and they win going away from Chinese Taipei. So the United States is good as gold here in China. The first of what Team USA obviously is hoping is a pair of gold medals in the compound team competition along the River Boulevard in China. So now you look at the compound men's team quarterfinal matches and the semifinal matches. And this is how we arrived at our gold and bronze medal matchups here in Shanghai on a Saturday morning. Carl Archery. Joined this morning by Andy Rekonenko of Great Britain. Kind enough to join us, come out in the rain and join us for our live coverage of the compound team competition. Time now for the men's team bronze medal match. And this will pit Mexico against the Russian Federation. And the Russian Federation out first, led by Alexander Dambayev. The Russians defeated Great Britain in the 1/8 round, then took a tiebreaker from the Netherlands in the quarterfinals before losing a shoot-off with Australia in the semifinals. By the way, the elimination rounds obviously played out at Yuanshen Stadium, which is a stadium where you're completely surrounded and enclosed by the stands. So the wind conditions obviously a lot different there as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, the winds, we've not had wind like this all week anyway. But shooting in a stadium can be a mixed blessing. You're away from direct wind, but the wind can swirl in the stadium, so you can get different conditions depending on where you are. And I've spoken to a lot of people this week that have said that their arrows seem to have done strange things. There's been a little bit of a breeze, you're thinking you're shooting great, you shoot straight down the middle, and the arrow moves. And we've had a few instances of that in some important matches as well, where we've seen arrows go in places the archer didn't expect them to go.
So here is the team from Mexico, seeded 4th. They beat Iran in the 1/8 round. They were 5 better than France in the quarterfinals and then dropped a 3-point decision to the USA in the semifinals. Julio Ricardo Fierro, Adolfo Medina, and Mario Cardosa shooting for Mexico. For the Russian Federation, it's Alexander Dambayev teaming up with Viktor Kalishnikov and Mikhail Sprodov. So the judge giving final instructions. And the Russian Federation to shoot first. World record in this event, 239 points recorded by Team USA at the World Championships in Torino back in 2011.
I'm going to guess that world record's probably safe today.
Probably. I won't bet against you. More of these conditions. So a 10 to start off for the Russian Federation.
Great start.
And another 10. Right down the middle. And here is Alexander Dambayev, who won the individual bronze and a mixed team silver medal in Poland at stage 4 last summer, when we had absolutely beautiful weather conditions in Wrocław. And Dombayev outside the yellow rings in the 8 ring with an 8.
Fuerte ahí, trabaja el brazo, Julio.
Julio Ricardo Fierro shooting first for Mexico.
Bien. Abajito, Julio, está bajito a las 7.
And Mexico off to a good start with a 9.
Venga, venga, Adolfo. Eso es, ahí trabaja, fuerte el brazo. Bien.
Almost inside that 10 ring.
A la izquierda tantito. Venga, Cardoso.
And I believe this is Mario Cardoso, a bronze medalist at the Arizona Cup a month ago. Drills it.
Cardoso, Cardoso.
So after 3 shots, we're tied at 28 all.
Izquierda, Mario. Un poquito a tu izquierda, Mario.
The Russian Federation continuing to shoot well.
Another fantastic shot.
An even better attempt that time. And the wind really whipping right now. So 55 points for the Russian Federation out of a possible score of 60 on the first 6 arrows. And here is Julio Ricardo Fierro, ranked 22nd in the world. Has been ranked as high as 7th. That was 2 years ago in 2012. Holding for a long time, Andy.
Yeah, you can really see the bow moving again in the wind. This is one of the areas where compounds, you could argue, maybe have a disadvantage compared to recurves. When you're at full draw, you're only holding maybe 17 or 20 pounds of draw weight, so the bow is almost a dead weight or a sail out in your hand, whereas with a recurve, you're holding the full weight of the bow, so 48, 50 pound plus maybe. So you've got much more to react against. So on a windy day, it's actually can be easier to hold a recurve towards the centre of the target than a compound.
Interesting point. And Mexico needing a 10 on the final shot of that end. And not getting it. So the Russian Federation should have, I believe, a 1-point lead as they total up the scores.
I think that's the disadvantage, of course, fighting with the wind. If you're taking a long time to make your shot because you're struggling.
A miss.
I don't think the last guy had very long for Mexico. The last shot, he didn't have very long to make his shot at all.
So a miss.
Very disappointed with
yes. So Mexico at a huge disadvantage as the shot received no points, no score. I believe it was Mario Cardoso trying to get that last shot off. And Mexico will have to settle for only 45 points. Goes back to what we were saying in one of those earlier matches with the women. You at least want to get the attempt off. Even if it's a 6, even if it's a 5, that's better than no score at all.
Absolutely, that's right.
And the raindrops keep falling on the heads of the Russian Federation as well as the team from Mexico. Mexico had come in hoping to win a pair of bronze medals here today, but the women's team came up 4 points short against Korea in the women's bronze medal match. Right now, Mexico has got a big hill to climb after the first 6 arrows. Of course, there are 18 more to be shot. And who's to say the same thing might happen to the Russian Federation?
Well, exactly that. And this is the point I was making earlier about in these weather conditions, anything can happen. You would not, on a normal day, none of these guys would be getting a miss. But On a day like today, absolutely anything can happen. And that's the extra pressure of being in the team round as well. When you're stood on the line, you know it's not only about yourself and about your shot, but you need to be worrying about leaving enough time for the next guy. But you don't want to let the team down and do a rubbish shot yourself. So you always get this little bit of extra tension there. So you need to try and make a good shot, get off the line in your time so that the other guy can get on and make his shot. And I think that was maybe the problem with Mexico. The last guy just ran out of time and had to rush the shot. Unfortunately, scored a miss.
Julio Ricardo trying to keep that bow steady, and he drills a 10.
Fantastic.
Nailed that shot. Great effort by Julio Ricardo Fierro, who won a men's team bronze medal in Shanghai 3 years ago when this event was actually stage 4. That'll count as a 9 for Adolfo Medina. And now Cardoso, who does have time. And uses it well.
That's good. As you say, absolutely perfect timing there. They're halfway through and they've got half the time left. Perfect timing that time.
So the Russian Federation, which had a 10-point lead to start the second end, keeping the pressure on.
Good shooting from Russia.
10 на 10, Миш.
Another strong shot.
Возле десятки, девятка на 12.
And here is Dombayev. Dombayev
Fantastic.
down the middle. Dombayev, of course, defeated Braden Galantine in the quarterfinals of the World Championships in Belek last fall. So you can tell how strong a shooter he is, as is Julio Ricardo Fierro, although not one of his better attempts there.
Fuerte el brazo. Firme. Firme.
Adolfo Medina, 20 years old, leaving 24 seconds on the clock now for Mario Cardoso. As you get a good look at those target faces, 50 meters away, Cardoso with 10 seconds. Clock winding down. And with 3 seconds to go, comes up with a 10. Took his time, very patient on that, Andy.
He did. I can't see where that second arrow went.
8, нормально. На 10 часов. Нормально, нормально.
We'll try to track down that score. A 9 for Russia.
9 на 10.
And Dombayev. With his team already leading by 9. Can make it a commanding 19-point lead, and he does.
Fantastic.
So there was a miss on that 5th arrow of the second set from Mexico. So Medina with a miss after Cardoso had missed on the final shot of the first end. That's disastrous.
That is, yeah, they'll be very disappointed with that.
So the 7th seeded team from the Russian Federation sitting pretty right now here in Shanghai after the first 2 ends. They lead by 19 points, 101 to 82 right now.
So the luck is definitely on Russia's side this week.
And the team from Mexico looking cold and wet. Can't blame them. Couple of tough misses. You know, coming into today, though, we expected we were going to see some missed shots.
We're going to see some surprises today, yes, that's absolutely right.
You can see the wind blowing those trees around in the background, the flags atop the targets. So they're battling wind, they're battling rain, trying to battle their nerves right now, hold things together. Bronze medal match for the men.
Ah, see what happened there. He shot on the wrong target face.
Aha.
That would be very disappointing. Shot on the wrong target face. So you're only allowed to put 3 arrows in each face.
Not the first time that's happened.
No. Not what you expect to see in a final, though, I must admit.
Yeah.
But the pressure's on.
The rain's falling, clock
Yeah.
is winding down.
Now, of course, we're talking about where the rainwater on the scope. If you've got the rainwater covering the scope, he may have been blown off the right target, come back onto the target, and it's very easy to do then, to think that you're aiming at the right target. If you haven't got a clear vision through your scope, you've got all the other pressures at the time, maybe we're playing on his mind from the previous round where he took a little bit too long to make the shot. All these go through your, all these kind of thoughts go through your mind when you're trying to, when you're stood there in front of the cameras trying to make a good shot. So it's a very easy mistake to make.
I've never missed a shot from this seat. Carl Arke along with Andy Rickonenko of Great Britain, compound archer for Great Britain, joining us here on Archery.tv as we get set for the third end. We're midway through this match, the men's team bronze medal match, under less than ideal conditions here in China. But we play on. And right now, Russia just knows it has to be solid. Doesn't have to be spectacular. Just have to make sure you shoot it at the right target.
Just not make any mistakes. That's all they'll be worried about now.
Trailing by 19, Mexico shooting first here in the third end. Fierro, low, in the 8 ring.
Venga, Adolfo, venga, Adolfo. Fuerte. Eso es. Fuerte
Now the
atrás.
20-year-old Medina.
Firme ahí. Firme. Bien, bien.
Much, much better.
Fantastic.
Buen 10, hijo, buen 10. Venga, Cardoso. Ritmo, Cardoso, ritmo. Fuerte.
Cardoso, also 20 years old, ranked 33rd in the world.
Fuerte.
Bronze medalist at the Arizona Cup this year. There was a lot of wind in Arizona for the Arizona Cup. He comes up with an 8.
Síguese a la
In
izquierda.
fact, one of the matches, I think Pascal Lebec of France advanced with a winning score of 123.
Wow.
Venga, venga, venga. Chécale, está a la izquierda, Cardoso.
You don't see that happen very often.
No, absolutely.
So 2 8s and a 10 for Mexico. The Russian Federation starts off with an 8.
No, absolutely, the wind is not our friend in this game.
Venga, Adolfo, ya pasó eso. Venga.
It's not
Team.
nice shooting in the rain, but it's better than shooting in the wind.
And today we have both.
We have both.
The daily double. Dombayev teaming up with Kalishnikov and Sprodov. Had a commanding 19-point lead halfway through this match, and Dombayev drills another 10.
Very calm, confident shot now.
He came on strong at the end of last season, particularly in Wrocław. Had some strong matches, as we mentioned. Beat Braden Gelantine in the quarterfinals of the World Championships in Belek, where the wind was a bit of a factor then too.
Firme. Firme el brazo. Fuerte. Venga.
Adolfo Medina
Bien. Bien. Nuevo bajo. Venga, Cardoso.
picked up a team gold medal a year ago at the Youth Championships in Wuxi here in China.
Ahí. Firme. Firme. 6. 4.
And with 3 seconds to go, Cardoso lets it fly and scores an 8.
Mueve un poquito ahí. Sigues a la izquierda.
The rain letting up just a little bit right now. Same goes for the wind, and that allows Russia to score 9. Not happy about that shot.
Do you know, I think the wind just caught his arm just as he made the shot. Just as he executed the shot, I saw his arm move. That was just unlucky, I think.
And Dambayev, just solid shooting for the Russian Federation. So it may be too much for Mexico to make up. That miss on the final shot of the first end, and another miss on the 5th shot of the second end, may be spelling disaster for Mexico as they attempt to pick up the bronze medal here today. 145 points for Mexico.
And again, we're back to the same situation as we were in the last match. The only chance now for Mexico is a big mistake from the Russian Federation.
17-point lead for the Russian Federation, 162 to 145. They jumped on top by 10 after the first end, thanks to that miss by Mexico on the final shot of that first end. Built the lead up to 19 points, 101 to 82 midway through the match, and now lead by 17 points, 162 to 145. So Russia appears poised to pick up the bronze medal. Don't forget the men's team gold medal match right around the corner. USA facing Australia. But some business still to be taken care of here, as Russia must close this out. And the team from Mexico has to hope for a little bit of luck and has to hit 6 strong shots to have any chance at all.
Ritmo ahí, fuerte.
So Julio Ricardo Fierro,
Fuerte el brazo.
who began competing on the international stage back in 2009, now a veteran.
Bien. 8.
And 8 for the young man who picked up an individual silver medal at Shanghai 2 years ago in 2012. And won the bronze medal at the World Cup finals in Tokyo in 2012 as well. Now Medina.
Sale.
With a 7.
Venga, Cardoso.
And Cardoso,
Fuerte ahí, fuerte.
also a member of that gold medal team from Mexico in Wuxi at the 2013 Youth Championships. High and off to the right, that's an 8.
Venga.
Strong shooting for the Russian Federation.
They're not letting up, are they?
Nope.
Fantastic shooting.
Not taking the foot off the gas pedal at all. Just outside the 10 ring.
Venga, Julio, cerrar bien, cerrar fuerte. Adolfo.
And now Dambayev.
Another 10. Fantastic.
So high fives for Dambayev and his 2 teammates, as they're just 3 shots away from picking up the bronze medal.
Venga, Adolfo.
That's better for Mexico.
firme. Fuerte, fuerte atrás. Ritmo. Bien.
Medina with the
Venga,
9.
Cardoso. Trabaja esa. Fuerte.
And now plenty of time for Mario Cardoso, who won a team bronze medal 2 years ago at stage 3 in Ogden, Utah. Ooh, just about on that line.
Bien, bien, bien. Bien,
Unofficially,
Cardoso, bien.
they've given him a 10. We'll see if that stands. Mexico finishing with 197 points, and Russia wraps up the bronze medal with that shot. Another 10 for the Federation. And again, it's not a matter of who's going to win, it's just a matter of by how much. And the Russian Federation pouring it on right now. The pressure's off. And Dombayev with the icing on the cake.
A fantastic finish to that match.
A commanding victory for the Russian Federation as they win the bronze medal here today. A year ago, it was Korea coming away with the men's team bronze medal. Choi Young-hee, Min Leong, and Yang Young-ho. But here in Shanghai in 2014, it's the trio of Alexander Dombayev, Viktor Kalashnikov, and Mikhail Sprodov who come up with the win and do it in convincing fashion. Got a little bit of luck, but they shot well. 221's a good score.
Oh, absolutely. In these conditions, it definitely is. On a nice day, then you'd be disappointed with that. But in these conditions, it's a fantastic score. No, they've been shooting strong all the way through the team rounds.
So posing for the cameramen here in China as Russia celebrates a bronze medal performance here on the River Boulevard along the Huangpu River in the Pudong district of Shanghai, the financial district. The buildings you see across the river, that is the Bund. A little bit older buildings that were built back around 1920s, 1930s. Interesting sightseeing part of Shanghai. The Nanjing district also over there as well. One of the most amazing cities in the world, and of course one of the largest cities in the world. 20 million people here in Shanghai, in the People's Republic of China. 1.3 billion people, a fifth of the planet's population located here in China. And they have many, many great archers. We'll be seeing them throughout the weekend. But right now, we're getting set to watch some of the top archers from the United States and Australia. It's the men's team gold medal match. As we get set to go, and here come the men from down under. The 6th seeded team from Australia. The Aussies recording a 2-point win over Vietnam in the quarterfinals, then winning a shootout against Korea before winning another semifinal shoot-off with the Russian Federation. The trio of Michael Brosnan, Derek Jacobs, and Robert Timms teaming up here in Shanghai today. So Brosnan, Jacobs, and Timms trying to take a gold medal back home to Australia. Meanwhile, for the United States, it's going to be Rio Wild, Braden Gelantine, and Bridger Deaton teaming up here today. The U.S. had a bye until the quarterfinals where they got by India by 3 points, and then in the semis knocked off Mexico by 3. Rio Wild in the middle, that's Braden Gelantine on the left, and on the right with the white cap on, that's Bridger Deaton, the young man that the U.S. archery folks are very, very high on. We'll see a lot of Bridger. He'll be back later this afternoon in the individual matches. So USA on target number 1 here in the men's team compound gold medal match. Once again, world record 239 points, probably safe. The Americans setting that record in Torino back in 2011 under much better weather conditions. Now, a year ago here in Shanghai, the United States knocked off Italy. It was Rio Wild and Braden Gelantine teaming up on that day with Roger Willett Jr. So here we go. The Americans on target number 1, Australia target number 2. Sometimes that can make a difference. Here's Rio Wild to lead off. Rio ranked 2nd in the world, 40 years old. Dominant figure in this sport.
Way to start it.
Nails it.
Fantastic strong shot from there.
Took his time. So Rio getting the Americans off to a good start. Now here's a good look at the 20-year-old Bridger Deaton, who's ranked 52nd in the world and just outside the 10 ring.
Bridger's been shooting really strong all this week. He qualified in 2nd place in the ranking round, and then of course you said earlier he was in the bronze medal match earlier, shooting fantastic this week.
Braden follows up with a 10, so 10, 9, and 10 for Team USA. Throwing down the gauntlet for the gentleman from Australia. And the Aussies start off with a 9.
Yeah, shot him.
Great shot. Michael Brosnan now ranked 42nd in the world. A year ago in Shanghai, his team lost in the bronze medal match.
Nice shooting, Mike.
So the Aussies matching shots with the Americans. Back to Rio Wild, who won a team gold medal in Wrocław, a pair of golds at the World Games in Cali. That came right after winning the gold in Medellin and a team silver in Medellin as well. And Rio is dialed in right from the get-go. Pair of 10s for the man from Pocatello, Idaho. Now Bridger Deaton, a silver medalist at the Arizona Cup in Phoenix last month.
Nice job, 10. 22.
Nice group.
21.
Fantastic shooting. Rain seems to have eased off, but I think the wind's got even stronger.
Quick shot by Braden. Lines up in the 8 ring.
Okay, guys.
Strong shot, mate.
So 57 out of a possible score of 60 for the Americans, and an opening for Australia to perhaps take an early lead. You could tell the minute he let that go, he grimaced.
It's all right, mate.
You can see why.
He won't be happy with that at all.
Yeah, shot, Timsy.
So Brosnan trying to keep it as close as he possibly can, and does all he can to do that. So Michael Brosnan with a strong shot right there to salvage that end for Australia. And the Americans jump out to an immediate lead in the men's team compound gold medal match. course, this match will complete the morning session. We'll take a break for a couple of hours, then be back for the mixed team matches as well as the individual matches. We've got some great ones on tap coming up this afternoon. So there you see 53 points for the Aussies. Could have been worse, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. And these, as we've been saying all the way through this morning, in these conditions, you know, anything can happen. So it's by no means over yet. These guys are all experienced guys. They're all strong shots. So if one guy can make that kind of mistake, then so can anybody.
So the Aussies down by 4 points, just 4 points. Not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination. And a chance to fight their way back into this match. Brosnan, Jacobson, Timms stepping up to the shooting line on target number 2.
Yep. Good shot, mate.
9-1.
On, Timsy.
Derek Jacobs with a 9. Now Robert Timms, 33 years old. Was ranked as high as 8th in the world back in 2008.
Yep.
9-1.
So Timms with a 9 after the 9 by Derek Jacobs. Michael Brosnan.
Nice 10.
10-1.
Strong shot by Brosnan,
Rolling, Rio.
who also lost a shot at a bronze medal back in 2011 here in Shanghai. So Brosnan's come close a couple of times, come up empty-handed. He will go home with the medal today. It's just a matter of which color it will be. Rio Wild
2-1.
9 little.
keeping it in the yellow. Now Bridger Deaton, a gold medalist at the 2012 Indoor Championships in Las Vegas, where he also won a team gold medal.
2-1.
Still low, Bridger.
Just 27 years old, or excuse me, 20 years old.
Eight.
And Braden with an 8.
Come on, Derek.
So the lead, which was at 4, now stands at 2. Here's Derek Jacobs
Yeah, good shot.
with a
Solid shot.
very good shot.
2-1.
So the Aussies fighting back right now. And Robert Timms. Last time he was in Shanghai was 2010, and he won a team gold medal then.
Yes, good shot, Timsy.
Trying to repeat that performance here today. Back-to-back 10s. In fact, that's 3 10s in a row right now. Can Brosnan make it 4 in a row?
8.
There's your answer.
All right.
Still 56 points in this end for Australia, after they had only posted 53 in the first end, putting some pressure on the Americans. Rio Wild, oh, it's a 10.
Nice job. We started off, Rio. Keep it rolling,
Caught that
Bridger.
line. In fact, well inside the line. No doubt about that shot.
33,
Absolutely not.
32.
Solid X10 there.
Only 2 tests. Sorry.
Bridger holding up his end of the bargain. Braden trying to bounce back from the 8 on his previous shot. And I'd say he bounced back all right.
Another X10. Fantastic. 10, 10, 10. That's got him smiling.
That's the thing about Braden. You know how he's feeling.
Oh, yes.
He doesn't hide his emotions. And he's usually having a good time out there right now. All three having a good time. Braden, Rio, and Bridger. 113 points right now
Thank you.
for Team USA.
You guys go.
Steve Ball, 1 Steve, USA.
And a 4-point lead over the Australians, which is where it stood after the first end. Australia got back within 2 midway through that second end, but the United States recovers with some strong shots and maintains that 4-point cushion, which in compound archery is not a very large cushion or a safe cushion, although the weather conditions have certainly improved right now.
No, that's right. I think on a normal day, on a nice day, then yeah, 4 points at this point in the competition, that's quite a lead. But on a day like today, we've seen it switch much more than that in the other matches, haven't we?
We're second, guys.
So just about set to go here in the third end
All right, boys.
of the men's team gold medal match, USA and Australia. USA seeded number 1, Australia seeded 6th.
Come on, Derek.
Derek Jacobs ranked 170th in the world, looking for his first World Cup medal, and he'll get one today, and that's a good shot. So Derek Jacobs warming up right now. Jacobs also came close to medaling in Shanghai 3 years ago on the men's team. They finished 4th back in 2011. And here is Robert Timms. Timms just a little bit higher, still in the yellow ring. And Brosnan with a 9 as well. Against other teams, that might be good enough. The Americans usually not willing to give points back. Although, well, that should be a 9.
Well, in truth, none of the guys out there will be happy unless they're putting in 10s, irrespective of the weather.
Another 10 for Bridger Deaton, who's had success here in China before, was on the men's team silver medal squad at the Youth Championships in Wuxi last year. And there's another 10 for Braden Gelantine. So the red, white, and blue bump that lead up to 5 right now. And that will not help Australia's cause. Robert Timms, a 33-year-old veteran, comes up with a 9. And Brosnan with the wind whipping behind him.
Yes, nice shot. Solid.
Finds the middle of that target. But you can hear the wind whipping through those flags. Rio Wild trying to block out all of that. Disappointed with the 8. But perhaps it was something Bridger Deaton can pick up on. That'll help him with this shot. He's off to the right in the 9 ring. And Braden very, very close to catching that line.
Just on the line.
Only 4 points in it.
So the United States will have a lead. It's just a matter of how large that lead is. Once the judges have had a chance to take a look at that target face and inspect that shot by Braden Gelantine, Australia with 164 points right now. In what has become one of the closer matches of the day right now, the USA with a 4-point lead, apparently 168-164 in Rio, looking out at that target 50 meters away, thinking about that shot where he scored an 8. Not happy about that. Focusing in, trying to get ready for this fourth end. Rio will not be in the medal matches this afternoon. I think it's the first time in years that he is not. He had gold medals that he picked up in 2011, 2012 individually here in Shanghai, and then last year got a bronze medal. Will not be in the individual matches, so this is his shot at a gold right here in China.
That's right. I mean, he had a couple of fantastic matches in the elimination rounds. Firstly against my fellow GB teammate Adam Ravenscroft. He had to shoot a 148 to beat Adam, and then against Bridger, and Bridger managed to beat him by 1 point. So Bridger will be going through to the medal matches this afternoon.
So there's the signal. The USA and Australia each scoring 55 points in that third end. The USA with 1 more point than Australia in that second end. And it was really that first end where Australia was outscored by 4 that put them behind early on, and they've been battling to try to get back in. They trailed by 4 after the first 6 arrows. They now trail by 4 after the first 18 arrows, and that 8 is not exactly what Derek Jacobs or the rest of the Australian team had in mind.
That's not going to help now. If they've got any chance at all in this, they need to shoot really strongly.
Timms now trying to pick it up. Robert Timms, who won the Australian Open this year. Better effort right there with a 9. Brosnan has been the Rock of Gibraltar for this Australian team so far in this match.
Yeah, good shot, Mike.
Comes through again.
Absolutely.
Good look at Rio Wild.
9.
Rio with a 9. Took a team gold at stage 1 last year, plus an individual bronze medal. Trying to pick up his gold medal here right now. Bridger Deaton, the man who eliminated him during qualifying this week, now teaming up with Rio, and he shoots a 9 as well. And the USA in good position right now. And the number 3 archer in men's compound, Braden Gelantine, coming off a win at the Arizona Cup. Puts his shot into the 10 ring. And the U.S. lead is up to 6 with 3 arrows to go. Derek Jacobs with a 9. Robert Timms for his final attempt. And Timms outside the yellow rings with an 8. So Australia has battled, but now fading, or seeing their hopes fade of winning that gold medal. As Brosnan finishes it off with a 10. Brosnan has been outstanding here today for Australia. So Rio Wild.
Solid shooting again from Rio.
Strong shot for Rio, who won the world title in 2009 in South Korea. Won the World Cup title in 2006 in Mexico. About to pick up a gold medal here in men's team competition in Shanghai, stage 1, 2014 World Cup Archery Outdoor Season Opener. Bridger Deaton setting the table for Braden Gelantine, who can put it away and does.
Wow, fantastic.
Braden Gelantine, the great shot to finish things off for Team USA. Handshakes all around as Rio Wild, Braden Gelantine, and Bridger Deaton team up. And the United States repeats after winning the gold medal last year with Rio, Braden, and Roger Willett Jr. This time they plug in Bridger Deaton, the 20-year-old, and USA does just fine. And they come away with a strong performance and a strong win to get that gold medal here today. So the United States does indeed take 2 gold medals in team competition this morning here in Shanghai at stage 1. The women with a commanding win over Chinese Taipei, and the U.S. men with an equally strong performance against the Australian squad as they post the final score, the U.S. winning by 8, 226 to 218.
There's some fantastic shooting out there today. The scores don't really tell the story. In those conditions, we've seen some fantastic shooting from everybody this morning.
So Braden Gelantine, Rio Wild, they're done for the day. Bridger Deaton is not. We'll see him later on this afternoon in the individual competition. As you take a look at that flag, it is starched. The wind still blowing very strong here along the Huangpu River in the Pudong district of Shanghai. But hopefully the rains will stay away as we head into the individual matches this afternoon. And we'll have some great ones for you. We'll also have the mixed team matches coming up as well. But the team competition in the books right now. Team USA coming away with a pair of gold medals. It all started off with a women's bronze medal match. Korea with a 4-point win over Mexico, 213 to 209. Then the USA with an easy win over Chinese Taipei. Then in the men's bronze medal match, it was the Russian Federation running away from Mexico, 221 to 197. And in the men's bronze medal match, the U.S. got off to a 4-point lead in the first end. Never relinquished that lead. Led by 4 midway through the match. Led by 4 after 3 ends. And they wind up winning by 8, 226 to 218. But impressive, I thought, Andy, just when you look at the weather conditions and everything that everybody had to contend with. Although the men in this gold medal match, I think the conditions were more favorable for them. But in those first 3 matches today, it was wicked.
It was, yeah, the real challenge out there, and that really just shows the professionalism of these guys to be able to go out there and just shoot strong and get some good scores in. As predicted right at the start, you're going to get a few surprises. So we had a couple of misses out there, we had a couple of low scores out there that normally those archers would never do, and I'm sure they're sitting there kicking themselves over it right now, but they shouldn't be. Those conditions are really tough out there today, and as you say, they seem to ease off a little bit for the men's gold medal match, but still, even then, the close-ups of the shots going on, you can still see the bows moving. Even the hands of somebody as solid as Rio Wild, normally solid as a rock, but the wind's really moving out there.
So
we'll get set now.
女子复合弓团体比赛颁奖仪式现在开始。Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the compound
The presentation of the medals here in Shanghai at stage 1. In the team competition, compound competition. And we'll bring back the teams from the United States, Chinese Taipei, and Korea as we get set for the presentation of the medals. Last year, it was India accepting the bronze medal. Trisha Deb, Gangadeep Kaur, and P. Lily Shanu. This year, the team from South Korea will be on the podium, picking up the bronze medal. And in the women's team gold medal match a year ago, it was Korea over the United States. Choi Bo-min, Sok Ji-hyun, and Seo Jung-hee who accepted the gold medals. Today, it'll be the United States atop the victory podium with Chinese Taipei, the team from Chinese Taipei, taking home the silver medal. As you get a good look at the dignitaries here in Shanghai.
许大川先生将为我们颁发奖杯的是 The trophy will be presented by Mr. Zhou Qiwei,
who are enjoying much more favorable weather conditions.
浦东新区教育体育局副局长周其伟先生。获得铜牌的是来自韩国。
All these 9 archers definitely earning their medals here today, as the team from South Korea steps up to accept the bronze medal. Choi Bo-min, Kim Yoon-hee, and Sok Ji-hyun. That trio combining to win by a score of 213 to 209 over Mexico in a match where Korea led by 5 after the first 6 arrows. Then after 18 arrows found themselves trailing by 2, but came on strong in that 4th and deciding end to win by 4, 213 to 209 over the team from Mexico. Proud moment right now for the team from Chinese Taipei. Wang Aizhu, Wen Ningmeng, and Wu Tingting flashing the victory sign. And that's not just a day's worth of work, that's a whole week's worth of work here, Andy.
That's right, you have to shoot all the way through this week, shoot strong to be able to get on that podium today.
And atop the podium, Erica Jones. No stranger to the victory podium by any stretch of the imagination. We will see Erica later on this afternoon. She'll be competing for gold once again with Bridger Deaton in the mixed team gold medal match. Congratulations to Tristan Scarvin, the 21-year-old archer from the United States. And congratulations, of course, to Jamie Van Atta, who led off for the United States and showed the way for Scarvin and Erica Jones. So congratulations to Van Atta, Scarvin, and Erica Jones from the United States of America. So congratulations to all 9 of these archers, in particular the 3 from the United States who take home the gold medal. Erica Jones on your left, Tristan Scarvin in the middle, and Jamie Van Atta. So Jamie Van Atta, who's had a lot of success here in Shanghai. 2011 won the gold in Shanghai. It was the 4th stage that year, won a team gold medal that year as well. Oddly did not qualify for the World Cup finals though, so that was her shining moment, 2011. And she has another shining moment here as well in 2014. Also won the team gold medal in Shanghai in 2010. So I would say Jamie Van Atta rather likes coming to China.
I think so, yes. I think any World Cup anywhere is, we all like getting to them. Doesn't matter what the destination is, but it's always interesting to go around the world and go to these different destinations. They all hold different stories for each of us.
And what an amazing setting this is here along the river here in Shanghai. Great setting, great backdrop.
It's fantastic, and it's fantastic to get archery into the public arenas so that we get people that normally wouldn't see the sport, hear about the sport, get them coming to see what's going on and get into it, because every time anybody comes along and starts watching it, they always get excited and get into it. So that's really good. Really good that World Archery takes the finals into these kind of events.
And there's great growth in the sport. We've seen it in France. We've seen it in Great Britain. The membership is up in Great Britain, I understand.
Absolutely. All of the clubs are starting to struggle a little bit now because we're getting so many people coming in. It's absolutely fantastic. Since the Olympics and, of course, since all of the films that are out there at the moment that feature archery, it's getting people interested, getting them, oh, we're going to have a go at this. And they start doing the courses and getting into archery, and it's fantastic.
It's catching fire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which, of course, can only be a great thing for the sport. The stronger we make the sport, the better for everybody.
And, of course, I think the games in London did nothing but really boost the sport tremendously. I mean, great matches, great coverage, and it was outstanding at Lord's Cricket.
Absolutely. The Lord's Cricket Ground was a splendid venue. It was so professionally run. It was fantastic. I went along and I was sat in the crowd watching and just listening, surrounded by people that really had probably never even considered watching archery before. Just absolutely loving it, all really buzzing, all talking about it. The weeks after, everybody was still talking about the archery and really buzzing from it. So it was absolutely fantastic for the sport.
And I expect it will only build as we head towards Rio in 2 years. Seems like a long ways away, but it'll be here before you know it.
Oh, absolutely, especially for the guys that are training hard for it now. It'll be here in no time for them.
And I'm looking forward to the day when you compound archers can compete in the Olympics as well. Hopefully that day will come.
Oh, wouldn't that be fantastic? Really would be fantastic. Obviously, compound archer, I love this side of the sport. Yeah, it'd just be fantastic to get it on the world stage.
So now the gentlemen slowly working their way out towards the victory stand here along the Huangpu River in Shanghai, right in the middle of the financial district. This is actually the financial center of this part of the world. And as you look around, as you see Tom Dillon, Secretary General for World Archery, he and his team do such an outstanding job of staging these events, bringing them to you through World Archery, along with the fine crew from Hit the Roof Productions. But they have really taken this sport. From about 2005, the decision was made that we've got to elevate our game, and they have certainly done that. Dr. Erdner, Tom Dillon, Juan Carlos Holgado, the entire crew, taking archery out there, bringing it to places like, as you said, iconic places where the public can come and see it now and understand it and appreciate it.
That's right, and I started shooting internationally back in 2006, and I've seen it grow and change every year. It's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. You come to these events now, and it's just growing the name and growing the awareness of archery. And then we're also starting to see that now reflected back on the national stage. Certainly in the UK, we've got the National Series now, where the National Series finals are starting to get a taste of this as well. So we're taking it out there and really spreading the word of archery and growing the sport, getting it taken more seriously throughout the world, which is essential.
Heightens the competition. There were over 300 archers who made their way to Shanghai this week to compete from over 40 countries, and so it truly is an international sport now, with more countries getting involved. Africa, obviously, a nation that World Archery is looking at, and we've already seen the growth in South America. We're looking forward to going back down to Medellin next month in Colombia where it was warmly received last year.
There's also the growth on the compound side, as we mentioned earlier. We're seeing Korea here now. I was watching the quarterfinals matches and looking down the countries competing and thinking, going back 5 years, half of the people competing in the finals wouldn't even be here, especially with the compound bag. So it's fantastic to see the compound side of the sport getting stronger and growing as well.
Sport has grown and is getting better, and of course it's a high-tech sport, and we're seeing more facilities being built. I was fortunate enough to be at the grand opening 2 weeks ago in Salt Lake City, Utah for the Easton Foundation's new archery center, which is outstanding, an unbelievable facility that will help archers from not just the United States, from around the world to come there to train.
That's right. It's fantastic to see facilities like that starting to be being produced around the world, and that's exactly what we need all around the world.
Last year at stage one, the United States defeated Italy. This year, the USA over Australia. Congratulations to Rio Wild, Braden Gellantine, and Bridger Deaton, as well as Michael Brosnan, Derek Jacobs, and Robert Timms, who pick up the silver medal for Australia. A year ago, Korea went home with the bronze medal, but this time, it is the team from the Russian Federation who captures the bronze. Alexander Dambayev, Viktor Kalishnikov, and Mikhail Sprodov winning the bronze medal, and winning handily by the score of 221 to 197. Great sportsmanship, handshakes all around. Lots of pictures being taken here, and lots more pictures to be taken this afternoon, and hopefully the weather will hold off and we'll have great conditions, or better conditions, this afternoon, Andy.
Let's hope so, for the sake of the archers. You know, they want to go out there in front of all the cameras, in front of the crowds. They want to be shooting at their best. So, yeah, they'll be praying for better weather this afternoon so they can get out there and really show us all how it should be done.
Well, the big story this morning, the Americans. They win gold in the women's team gold medal match and gold in the men's team gold medal match. So a sweep by the Americans of the gold medals that were out there. Congratulations to Korea for winning the women's bronze, and of course to Australia for winning the men's silver medal as well. Well, at 1500 hours, we'll be back with the compound mixed team medal matches, followed by the individual bronze and gold medal matches here at stage one of the 2014 World Cup outdoor season, coming to you live from the banks of Shanghai's Huangpu River in the People's Republic of China. For my good dear friend Andy Rikonenko of Great Britain, I'm Carl Archie. We'll see you soon with more exclusive coverage of World Cup competition here on Archery.TV.